Okay, we're going to give it just about 1 more minute and then we will start. We've got a couple people still coming online here, so just another couple minutes and we will get started. Okay, one last sound check here. Julie, can you hear me just fine? Maybe you can text me back or give me a confirmation. Yes, okay, everything's good. Okay, super. We're going to get this thing started then. Welcome everyone to our SenseFly eBeeX fixed wing professional drone solution webinar. My name's Adam Arrington. I'll be one of the presenters today along with Chuck Snow. For those that don't know me, I've been serving in the role as the leader of a company that we call Dudley Hayes, which is the parent company of the Birmingham-based Earl Dudley LLC company, in addition to the Hayes Instrument Company in Shelbyville, Tennessee. The webinar today is sponsored and presented through our Hayes Instrument channel. Because we feel that the current and the future Hayes customers will be leaders in the utilization of high accuracy drone-based surveying solutions. During the webinar, feel free to type in questions so that at the end, if we have time, that we'll be able to maybe address those if you would like. Before I kick it off any further, we do have two quick poll questions that we'd like to throw out to the crowd just to get a feel for a little bit of the demographics of everybody that's on attention or that's attending today. So maybe Julie can throw those up here and we'll see. If not, we'll maybe when we flip over presenters, we may present those toward the end then, if they are the only part we didn't really practice here. Okay, all right, looks like we can't do it right now. So I'll keep moving on and we will maybe present those toward the end. Okay, all right, a little bit about our history with SenseFly. Just as a company, we've been a SenseFly dealer for about 5 years, and we've sold hundreds of these platforms across the United States. We provide live webinars, we do live on-site product demonstrations as needed, and we also provide 100% of the training and the back-end tech support all in-house within our company. We've also, for those that may be existing SenseFly customers, or if you may be a future one, it may be good for you to know that we've also recently added in-house repair capabilities and service capabilities on the eBeeX platform that we're going to talk about in great detail here in a little bit from our Greenville, South Carolina office. So the eBeeX fixed wing drone solution that you're going to see today is really the 4th generation of the hardware design that SenseFly first initiated over 10 years ago. The eBeeX is the #1 market share leader for fixed wing drones in the world. So what really makes the eBeeX so powerful, and why do we get the kind of feedback and response from customers that have already and made this investment in these drones. It's because, for one, it does consistently provide RTK level accuracy results. And we'll get into that with Chuck's part of the presentation in just a little bit. It's also very simple to operate and process the data. And for most of the feedback we get from our customers, the return on investment is typically less than 60 days. And in some cases, it's only one project. So first thing I want to show you here, this is just a little graphic artwork here of the first generation drone that SenseFly came out with in 2010 that we call the Swinglet Cam. I'm not going to go into much detail about these other to just sort of show you a chronological sort of timeline of the different improvements as SenseFly was getting feedback from customers and from dealers across the world as to how these products evolved to be what they are today. So this was the second generation. This was the eBee. This was the first one we started with. Came out initially in a non-RTK version, and then they came out with the first full fixed wing RTK solution. We certainly have still quite a few customers that are still running this platform. Then did another upgrade to the eBee Plus, made some enhancements in camera design and in flight time and being able to do PPK on demand as well as RTK. And then the current product, the fourth generation, is what we call now the eBeeX. The eBeeX comes in two models. It comes in a standard model and an RTK model. I think 98% of all of our customers buy the RTK version, which we will discuss in a lot more detail. But a lot of the improvements have to do with making the hardware design as robust as possible. There's been a lot of improvements in that world, that part of the product. Also improved winglet design. The actual wings that pop off have a incredible ability to be used in very high wind conditions and just get a lot of repeatability to the durability of the system, and also dramatic improvement in airtime, the amount of time on one battery to actually stay in the air on one flight to cover either a larger area or maybe a geometrically challenged area, and also maybe do some redundant type of flight patterns that we'll talk about. One of the other key things about this new design was a modular design, and this is part of what we've gotten involved in with our service tech in our Greenville office. As you can see here, the systems are very modular. This means that if something does happen to the drone, repairs can be done very quickly and very inexpensively. With some of the prior designs, just because of the inherent design of it, that wasn't necessarily the case, just because of the sophistication of the original design. So we think that's a really key step in your return on investment moving down the road. So two of the last things that I'm going to present here before switching over to Chuck has to do with the sensors. We discovered, several months, well, really several generations ago, that one of the keys to providing great data is great sensors. And two of the key new sensors that came out with the eBeeX system, the first, what we call advanced sensor, advanced camera solution, we call the SOTA 3D. And Chuck will get into a lot more details about this particular camera and show you some data from it, but this is a very unique solution in the market. And the types of outputs that it can produce, as well as the flexibility that it provides with some of the flight design patterns that you've designed for, the SOTA 3D is very unique. The other camera that is very unique from a sensor standpoint is the Area X camera, and Chuck is going to also present some of our test results from this particular camera and some of the results from that will, I think, astound you when you hear about some of the test results. Without further ado, I will switch it over to Chuck. I'll do a quick brief intro. Maybe Julie, you can switch over to Chuck. Tell you a little bit about Chuck. Chuck, within our operation, Chuck has been with us for roughly a little over 6 years now. Chuck was a customer prior to joining our company. And Chuck came from a aerial mapping and owned his own aerial mapping company, and actually is a commercial pilot as well as a UAV pilot. And the key thing about what our solution or what we can provide there with Chuck is Chuck works exclusively in this environment. This is all he does. And I would say, you know, with all humility, he is the foremost authority with the applications of this technology and how to really squeeze out all the goodie, if you will, all the precision, the best procedures. And Chuck has personally trained, you know, several hundred customers on site with this technology. So his training package is of great value. And then, you know, the support on the back end is also there if you're struggling with some type of accuracy component, or maybe there's a unique project that you want to get his experience and advice from, then he's available to do that. So with that intro, we'll switch over to Chuck, and then I'll come back last but not least to present, for those that can hang out till towards the end, we do have an unprecedented offer that we're going to offer anybody that's on this webinar today that will, I think, amaze you that we're able to do this and willing to do this, and gives you an idea of how strong we feel about what the future of this technology is. So.
All right, Julie, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Chuck.
Awesome. Okay, guys, thanks for attending. Chuck Snow here. I'd like to go over a few of the things that I think are really important about SenseFly and why I think they're one of the, if not the best platform, you know, around the world today. One of the big deals is, and we are inside their software right now. This is called Emotion 3 specifically. There's many things that the software does. I'm going to show you some of those things today and look at a little bit of data today. Before I get in there, though, Adam talked about the sensors. One thing that we all know, if you use this technology or don't use this technology, sensors, because this is photogrammetry, you know, sensors and information that sensor is tagging those images with is very important if you want accurate data. I mean, I've done over 1,000 flights. I've really trained over 500 people to use this technology. So I don't ever say I'm an expert at anything, but I've spent a tremendous amount of time testing these things. Direct georeferencing, the SOTA 3D and the eBeeX both have direct georeferencing. What that's doing, just in a quick nutshell, is not just GPS information, but it's got IMUs in the cameras. So they're providing, you know, heading information as well, you know, pitch information. So that's tagged. What that does is give you, again, we're always trying to squeak down to the best information we can. And so if you're providing better information on your geotags, when you process that data, you'll be able to get better results. And I'll show you one of my tests with the eBeeX. I've actually got an Excel spreadsheet on 4 different flights at the same area with around 20, 22 targets. And we can check the deltas on that. All right, let's kind of go. We're inside the software now. We have many sensors that the eBeeX can use. If you look right here, SOTA 3D eBeeX, SOTA Corridor, and I'll show you what that means in a few minutes. Sequoia, you know, for agriculture, if you need to have a multispectral camera for that. Thermal imaging for the Duet and the Red Edge, it does multispectral as well for agriculture. So we have those things available for us. If I was going to do, you know, jump in here and do a flight plan, you know, if y'all use these, you know, any kind of drone, you know, flight plan, it's just a real simple, you know, the stuff's there. You just draw the box, you know, whatever shape you want to, it auto draws, you know, and I can fly that if I want to. So I can change it. If I happen to exceed the capacity of the battery, then the EB knows where it is. It knows what it's done. it'll come back and land automatically, or you can bring it back and tell it to land. It lands by itself. You put another battery in, it automatically connects back up to the software. It already has the flight plan in there. You launch again, and it will go finish the flight plan for you and then land. That's all done automatically, guys. So you see how it does all this stuff. If we wanted to do different things with these flight plans, we could. You know, for some reason, if you had to do interlaced like or perpendicular, you can. If you need that kind of data, usually we do not need that anymore. In the old days we did, but that's pretty rare when you need to do this now with these sensors because they're really good. Less overlap now. If you notice, I got 60/70 set up for me. You can fly 60/60 overlap with this eBeeX camera. So what that does for you guys is it allows you to fly larger areas, right? Because you have less overlap, less flight lines, less images, faster processing, all those kind of things. So, and this with long range batteries, this unit will fly over an hour. So just to let you guys know. So we have long range batteries available. Endurance is what they call them. So we can do those kind of things if you want to. We have safety actions in here. You remember there's things going on. We're flying, right? We know we're not parallel to the ground every time we fly or take a picture. And since we have IMUs inside the units, they know if it's too windy and they will automatically come back home. Airspeed malfunction, camera malfunction, battery gets low. It knows where it is. It knows the wind. It knows how much wind's going on up there. Most units do not know that, by the way. Ours does. And it'll come home automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. You can always bring it home anytime you want to. GNS accuracy degrades, you lose your RTK signal. We do have ways to fix that. If you're running a GPS that's got static and RTK at the same time, which is the one I use does, then we don't have to be feeding it RTK signals. We can just process and run it in PPK. Let me go back to number 3, get rid of that. Some of the other things that this software does is I can throw elevation up on the screen. You can look and say, okay, I'm flying by this hillside, or I'm going beyond this, you know, because eBeeX can fly. There's several companies that have beyond visual line of sight. If that means anything to you guys, or if it does not, then we've done a tremendous amount of testing. Over 1,700 miles have been flown with the eBee up in Canada, testing beyond visual line of sight. We had 0 problems. So the FAA has allowed companies that puts forth a document and mitigates the risk. They've given them beyond visual line of sight. Well, with the eBee, it was used extensively in North Carolina after the hurricane for that. But this is helpful with that. The eBee is terrain. When I say terrain following, it knows this information, so it will change its altitude. It doesn't just go up and down the whole time it's flying. Okay, it's gonna do a flight line that way. But it will change its altitude, or you can change your the way you fly something to make sure that you don't have a ground impact. So it checks that. It's also got 2 lasers on the bottom to do that kind of stuff. Another thing we can do is, you know, I don't know if there's any airspace out here. Yeah, here's some airspace. Our software shows airspace. So anytime we know we always check this as a pilot, but some of the things you check, sometimes you may miss something. You can always see that live on the screen if you want to. Another thing we can do is we have a little dongle that hooks into the computer, and it sees live air traffic, and it will give you information on the screen to let you know if you have any air traffic and if it's going to be a problem. It'll give you altitude, it'll give you heading, it'll give you distance. It'll update that for you if it starts getting into your live area. So lots of great technology with SenseFly does all of those things. So what else can I tell? I'm gonna what else would be good? I'm gonna connect. Go ahead and you can run a simulation here with this with the eBeeX or with any of the eBees if you want to, and it's just like flying live. So it's going on. It says it's running pre-flight checks. You see right here, it's waiting for GPS signals. It should run through all this stuff. It tests everything again.
Pre-flight checks completed.
You notice it says RTK source not defined, start and home not set. We have many options to fly with. If I go into RTK, I can select my source. I can fly with standalone PPK. Say, okay, I don't want to do RTK today. Or I know I'm going to be flying a corridor where I'm a long way away, so I won't be able to maintain RTK. You can just tell it there, and then you can process the data in PPK mode, have survey grade information, when you get on the backside if you want to do that. Or you can do a network. You can do VRS. So you can do ground control points. You can put down targets if you like. Again, what we're trying to show you is to be more productive and not have to put down targets. I always put down one to make sure that I haven't made a mistake somewhere. But this is a way to go out and fly multiple sites quickly or large sites quickly and get information. We have lots of guys doing roads, corridors, you know, open areas. Of course, there's timber cover. We can't help you, right? This is photogrammetry. We got LiDAR for that if that's not what you need to do. So, but if you're using photogrammetry and you've got ground or quarries or roads or other things, you know, the EB can really help you, you know, with that kind of stuff very quickly. I have people that get tremendous amounts. Here's one. I did some guys in Oklahoma. I went out there. They were doing a 70-mile, 36-inch water pipeline corridor, and we flew it all with the EB. They had bid conventionally survey it, but they realized the EB could do it. So I went out and helped get them set up for that, and it was very fast. They knocked that out in about 6 weeks. So and that would have taken way longer than that. So they use the EB for everything. So, but you can choose. You can put all this stuff in. It lets you do that. If you want to go set up RTK, we can put in a base station here. We can put in a known point here, or we can do a VRS here. Any of those things are available when you're flying the EB. You can do any of those things you want, and they stay in there. You have them all the time, so you can do those kind of things. Notice that I'm in standalone mode, so RTK actually it's not very accurate. I don't think it'll fix because I am on behind our firewall, but let me see if it will here. I don't think it will, but we'll see. We'll give it a second or two, and I'll talk about some other things. So you can save missions if you want to. Yes, we are RTK fixed. I got lucky today. It did, even behind the firewall. So if you see right in here, guys, I'm RTK fixed. So anyway, so it knows that. Again, we're in simulator mode, but that part's correct because I do all my GPS, RTK, you know, receiver setup in simulator mode because it's just easier. I don't have to worry about the EB sitting out there in the sun and stuff like that. So I do all this stuff in the office or out in the back parking lot. So when I go out on site to fly, I'm already ready to go. I don't have to do anything. So that's kind of how that stuff works. We can have, this is a geo fence right here. If you've flown, y'all know this, just about every drone has this. The EB will not go outside the fence, and you can change that to whatever size you want it to be. You can change elevation as well. I've had up to 1,200 feet of elevation change on a project with a customer in North Carolina. It was a site, I think it was a mining site. It's been a while, but on the side of a mountain in the EB, it'll go down and just fly back across, step up altitude as it goes, and it'll do its job. So it'll do all that kind of stuff, and it did it well. So pulls in weather. I mean, it does all kind of things. It gives you a bunch of information here. So if you wanted to, if I was here, and I was going to do a mission block, horizontal mapping, I'm going to stick this in here. And I don't know where the wind's coming from, but if I go back to tab 1 and I want a crosswind mapping block. So if I want to do that, I hit this. You notice it turned the lines automatically for me. You can do it manually if you want to by doing this and turning it. So, but it'll do it automatically as well. So it does that kind of stuff. The software does other things. You know, like I said, you can save flight plans, redo flight plans. You can bring in KMLs. You can do other things like that if you need to. That's probably about enough for that, I guess. All the sensors, RTK stuff. Let me talk about a couple of other things. We go here. I'll go to data. This is a site for a dirt mover that I helped. He's got, in fact, they have a whole drone line. This is a dirt mover that started a drone company because they just got so successful with these. They got 4 of our EBs and a LiDAR system as well. This is just some of the stuff it does, guys. We're out here. I do have ways to, just to guys to let you know, to get rid of stuff on site. Okay, I just do. I can get rid of that stuff if I want to. But if I wanted to fly this, you know, I can contour it. These are half footers right here. I think it did a pretty good job out here. They look pretty nice of all the stuff. We can take stuff away again. I just was lazy to do it. But we got ways to take all this stuff out where we can get contours and get rid of all the stuff out there. But you see all the contours, they look pretty well. I mean, I don't think they would be this pretty in this parallel on these areas. And all this has been done with machine control. That's why this dirt looks so good. So anyway, you've got that kind of stuff. You can't have that, you know, right there with bad data. You just can't. It's just not you're not gonna have parallel lines on something that's been dug with machine control if your data's not good. So anyway, let me go to, I want to go to a Pix4D thing. I'm gonna show you this stuff that I just got, that I just showed you. This is the cameras here. Okay, I'm gonna turn the cameras off. This was done in RTK. I know this, and this is a bunch of dots. Okay, those square ones are the points it uses to tie the data together. And as you can see, there's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of them. That is just the data. We have a 3D shot about every 3 or 4 inches here. On the bottom right, if you can see my screen, you'll see as I move the cursor, we are in State Plain. This is in Georgia. I change elevation and the numbers change because everything out here is accurate in 3D information. One of the things I wanted to do for you guys here, I've got a pile there. You can easily do volumes. You know, I'm probably not the first guy to admit it. Drones aren't good for everything, but topos in dirt or in quarries or any of that open area, I don't think you can beat it for the accuracy, especially in a volume pile. So if I want to do a volume, I can just click on it. I can say add a volume, and I'm just going to be crude here and just click and not try to click right next to the pile. I'm just going to click around it. And then if I hit compute, I got a volume right there, you know, 12,733 feet, you know, just multiply it out, do the math, and you got yards for that. So it does that. We can also, if we want to, let's say we're doing a quarry or something else, or you need to go below surface, or you're doing a Walmart or something. You want the whole site and your elevation is 500. Well, this is 1,105. So let's say you're 1,100 feet. You want to be finished at 1,100. You know, I could do a custom. I could change this to 1,100 and do a calculation here, and it would give me all that. I want to take, well, yeah, probably would. Well, not there, it won't. Not there, it won't. I'm sorry, because I do the whole site. But you could click around the whole site. So if I want to take us down 5 more feet, I'm at 62,915 cubic feet of material that I have to take out of that to take it down 5 feet. So anyway, you can do that on the whole site if you want to. That's kind of some of the things that Pix4D does for you. And with accurate data, you can use that to do things. You guys know, if you're looking at this, you can't go out there and shoot that like that. I'm sorry, you just can't. You know, you can shoot some shots, but you're not going to get all those curves and all those little bitty holes and undulations in the pile that you have when you pull in drone data. So you're just not going to do that. So let me grab another data set for you guys. Let's look at this. This is with the Area X. In a minute, we're going to talk a little bit about the testing I did with this sensor, because this is our, I guess, our best sensor, if you will. What you're looking at is indeed a point cloud. Okay, let me turn the automatics off. So this is indeed a point cloud. I got my GPS sitting here, and I got one control shot sitting, or actually this is a GPS here control right here, just to make sure my data is good. Sometimes with some of the other sensors, I can get top and bottom of curve. We all know that's about 4/10, and I hope you can see so if I'm here, I'm on this, I'm at 918.65. If I'm on top of the curve, I'm at 918.02. So, you know, there's your 4/10 roughly. So this sensor will do that. It's that good. Notice how great the colors are, how great the data is. Even in the point cloud, you can see so much detail on the railroad track and everywhere else, tops of the buildings. So really, really, really good data, you know, out of this sensor. So it's my favorite. I did some tests on it, guys, and we'll go talk about that in just a second. Actually, I'm gonna pull up. This is an Excel spreadsheet of all my control, and I flew this with ground control points, VRS, RTK, PPK, and I know since you guys are surveyors, I total stationed all the shots, and then I did a delta on the UAV versus the total station. Okay, this is total station versus GPS, UAV versus total station. UAV versus total station on the shots was 400s. Total station versus GPS was to call it 400, call it 500. I don't care. 300s on a total station versus the GPS shots. The PPK delta was 900s. Call it a 10th, call it 10 because 9.0957. The VRS delta was 500s. Okay, the RTK delta 900s. Everything we did here is less than a 10th with that area X sensor on the control that I checked against. There's a delta on all of it, guys. So, and that's a 18 control points, 17 maybe. So not 20, about 17 control points, hard surface. All the control was on hard surface. So anyway, just to kind of show you guys. And again, I did 4 separate flights. This is not one flight, with this information they're changing. I did 1 flight for the ground control, 1 flight for the VRS, 1 flight for the PPK, and 1 flight for the RTK. And then I did the math on all this to give you these results. So, and that's against the targets. So anyway, let's see. Do I have anything I want to go? That's I guess, guys, is about all I have for you. I know it's a little fast, but I hope I was okay. I try not to talk too fast. I don't have to. Let me think if there's anything else I need to talk to you. Our sensors are all really cutting edge. If y'all look at this world and know anything about how sensors work, then that's where it's at if you're using photogrammetry. You got to have really good quality glass. You've got to have a great sensor inside. You've got to have a large sensor. It's not just about megapixels. It's physical size makes a difference as well. And that sensor where Adam showed you that APS-C sensors, like I'll just call it an SLR camera. So the sensor is very large. Couple other things. The eBee, some of you guys, if you've looked at the technology, you worry about the landing. We have steep landing technology available now. Let me go right here. Let me go here first, and I'm going to shut this down. Landing, and I'm going to add a new home. And I'm going to steep landing, and I'm going to drop it in right here. And I'm going to go 3D. Can I? So you see that the eBee's up right here. I know it's not dark, but it's up right in here. Can I? Maybe that helped a little bit. You see how high it is up right here. It comes down at a very steep angle and lands. Again, I know it dropped in the water, but I just stuck it out there. So it comes down at a very steep angle. You need very little, very, very, very little area for this to land right here. I've done it. This really doesn't do it justice for how high it is. It is. I know I don't want to say right above you, but it's really close. If you've got 30 feet of grass, you're good. That's what I tell people. So it works really, really well like that. So that's one of the great things that we have now. Just to put it into perspective, let me drop another. Let me go linear landing and drop it right here by it. That might help you a little bit more. So if I choose it, you see how it's twice as far out, much lower angle of descent. You can see that. So little different right there. Either one's fine. The other one, I like this one, but I've used it, like I said, probably 1,000 times. But the steep landing is just so handy. I don't have to worry about anything, and I use it all the time. So with the eBeeX, so you can do that, guys, if you want to. So the design's very durable. I was one of the beta testers for this model. It is only 4 parts. Really, there's an autopilot stack, pitot tube, up and lower and body, everything's in there. Fixing it is us being able to repair this is a big deal, and let me tell you why. I have a customer that's on a job right now. They're in the Southeast. They had a problem. They called me Friday. I said ship it. They shipped it to us. We didn't get it until yesterday. It's going out today, and it's a full body swap. So everything moved. It's because the upper body has everything in it. We're not going to use any of the old stuff. We just swap the body out for them. Upper body, lower body should actually, run into a tree. It didn't hurt it. It still was working fine. We have this tape that that comes with our kits, and you can actually tape the EB up if you have a problem, and a lot of times still fly it out. But the cool thing is, she's not waiting for 2 or 3 weeks to get her drone repaired. It got there. It's been there 1 day, and it's going out. And so she's not without her drone for a long time. So we can do that. The other thing I'd like to discuss is liability. When we first started looking at this 5 or 6 years ago, and I couldn't spell drone, and Adam had me looking at all this stuff. One of the parameters that I included on our list was liability, because they all come back to the ground, whether it's controlled or uncontrolled. All of the technology we sell, other than the LiDAR, is all very lightweight. The heaviest weight for the eBeeX would be 3 pounds. If you are flying which is a very famous DJI product, a P4, you're 5 or 6 pounds. So if that comes down and it hits somebody, you're probably going to kill them or knock out a windshield or a window. The EB is an airplane, so it's going to glide down, and the heaviest weight for it is going to be only 3 pounds. You can let it hit you, you can catch it, all those kind of things. It's not that dangerous. So liability is always a factor, guys. So just remember that kind of thing. I guess that's all. That's all I got. We can move the questions if you guys want to, and see what we got going on right there. I'll be glad to answer anything you guys. So, Julie. You got any? Okay, I think they're gonna make Adam presenter. Adam will ask the questions, and I'll answer, he'll answer. You know, if he's gonna be presenter, he's in another room in our office. I may walk in there. That way it'll be easy for us to answer questions. So I'll go in there. That way Adam can be presenter.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
she's not making.
did you get it?
You're still a presenter, I know. So
You want to come into my computer then?
I can't present from there though. I mean, I've got this.
Oh, you were gonna do some stuff. That's right. I was right. You were gonna do some stuff. Can you text her?
I already did. She's trying to now. She's responding now.
She went to 5-5.
Saying someone else name. Okay, there we go. Andrew Williford.
Howdy, hurry.
Hey.
Yeah, can you hear me, Julie? Yeah, you made Andrew Williford the presenter. I think you need to scroll up.
Yes, unfortunately. Did you intend to do that? I apologize.
No, there we go.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Hey. Okay, it's saying a panelist versus a presenter. It's saying panelist. All right. All right, I'm gonna exit out. I can exit out and come back in. Let me try that.
Hello, Julie, can you hear Chuck? Just curious. I look like I'm still live, so you can, text me or call me. Like, there you go, Adam. Awesome.
Okay, there we go.
Hear you. Awesome.
All right. You can see me now? Hear me now? Okay. Sorry about that technical swap over there. Okay, well, just to finish it up very quickly here, probably just 2 or 3 more minutes. Again, Adam Arrington here. Just wanted to dispel a few misconceptions about this particular technology when you are comparing a rotary type mapping solution versus a fixed wing solution. What we've noticed in our industry, we've been actively involved with this technology for 5 years now, meaning specifically with the fixed wing drone solutions. And we talk to a lot of customers, we go to a lot of shows, and we have dialogue back and forth. One of the things we've noticed, one of the trends in our industry, is that a lot of our surveying friends and customers, when they're thinking about making a move into this particular technology, they immediately think to gravitate towards, I need to go out and get a smaller end rotary platform to start with, and I'm going to purchase that thing. I'm going to learn how to kind of manually fly it around, maybe semi-automated the process of flying it around, and take some pictures, and then I'm going to get some kind of back-end image processing software to process the data, and I'll be in business. And I would say of probably 90%, over 90% of all the customers that we've talked with that have gone about it through that step. Well, that's a fine step to kind of get started. You kind of learn about what it really takes if you don't have that kind of background. What we sense more than anything is that these types of customers are very frustrated. They spent months, and I don't mean a month, I mean months, trying to figure out how to kind of make all that stuff work and to build a level of confidence around the level of data or the accuracy of the data that they're able to produce or not produce. And that gets very frustrating, for them. And so, so this solution is a great dovetail, from that type of solution, while for the right kind of sites and for inspection and for many different applications, those types of platforms have their place, in their application. But in our opinion, what that application place is not consistent, highly reliable solutions that are professional grade, from a surveying standpoint, that surveyors can feel very confident that they're going to put their stamp or seal of approval on. They really struggle to do that, and we can get into all those details as to why they struggle in that way, because there's a lot of technology that's under the hood in both the software that you've seen today and the hardware that make this a solution, and then some experience base to it that we provide our customers is really kind of what makes it all fit together. So, if there were 2 things you would take away from this, education webinar today, that I would say, if you remember just 2 things, I'd say I'd try to hit back on these couple of points. And that is, a fixed wing RTK drone solution is extremely flexible in its use and applications. What I mean by that is, a lot of people think that if I've only got a 2-acre site, that a rotary system is the best solution for that because it's only a 2-acre site. And I would say that's usually not really the case, believe it or not. And a lot of, early on adopters of this technology think that you have to launch and land from the exact very site of which you're mapping. And that's not the case either. There's lots of flexibility in where you can figure out maybe safer places, no matter what platform it is that you can launch and land from. Those are 2 key elements to the efficiency and the flexibility that a fixed wing drone can provide. And until you kind of see it, most people don't really believe it. So that would be the third thing, is that if you have a question about will it really do or how do you really do, then please use this as an opportunity to reach back to us and let us show you more specifics than we can do in this type of a forum about the different kinds of projects, and from very large to very small, and how this is a great complementary solution to maybe an existing drone solution that you have now. So wanted to also to present that. Now, two other quick points. One is those that may not be aware, because we didn't make this a big point. We are also, a certified Pix4D dealer, and we feel like that solution from a back-end software processing, which is not required if you own an eBee or if you utilize data from any drone, we think it's a great solution for many different workflow reasons. And we can provide and do provide training, advanced training and support, and obviously sales and that side of this solution as well. So at any rate, all of this boils down to we are about to introduce a very exciting trade-in type promotion options, meaning if obviously if you have a first or second or third generation SenseFly drone, we have some incredible trade-in to trade up options if you were not available or not aware of those yet. But we are also about to introduce 2 or 3 other options that may surprise you. And I can't get into really exact details in this exact webinar right now, other than to say we're entertaining and going to shortly announce some trade-ins of some conventional types of surveying gear that maybe you're not utilizing now. Maybe it's old school technology compared to some of what the latest is that's out there. It's sitting in the closet, you're not utilizing it, that you may be able to trade those types of tools in to really step up your technology offering to your clients to move into a platform like this. And you might be really, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by that offer, and how, if you were concerned about what the capital investment looks like to get into a real high-end professional system like that, it's going to be a whole lot less than what you may think about. And I'll stress one more time that the typical return on investment is 60 days or less with this technology. It is quite amazing, even on small sites, with what you can do and how you can leverage this offering of new deliverables to your clients that they will be amazed by. So wanted to also throw that out. So if you want to get more information on that, you can certainly follow back up with us and we can do a private type of a webinar, or come see you on site, whatever might need to be done to answer any questions that you may be, and so you can see firsthand really what makes this system as remarkable as it is. So with that, I will complete our portion of it. If there are any questions now here toward the end, feel free to type them in. If not, we'll probably just wait maybe a minute or two. If somebody really wants to throw out a question of some kind, then feel free to do so. Yeah, Chuck's just mentioning I didn't cover the drone trade-in option. Yeah, I mentioned about some surveying gear trade-ins, but we also have, again, can't go into all the exact specifics, but we will also have some drone trade-in options as well, meaning just some rotary copter. If you made an investment in a what I'd call entry-level type drone that maybe is not working out the way that you would have intended or hoped it would, then we'll have some options to maybe trade those in against an eBeeX RTK, or if you've got a higher end solution, maybe you've made an investment into some other kind of an RTK drone solution or any other type of fixed wing solution that's not SenseFly, then we're ready to offer you a great, aggressive, and I think very appealing offer in that regard. If you feel like, hey, I'm not getting the goodie out of this that I really wanted to, and let's possibly look at making an investment in another solution that we're willing to stand behind, then those will also be options. So we got lots of flexibility of things, but you know, a lot of you know, one of the last closing comments I'll make. Don't see any other comments or questions coming in at this point, which is fine. Is that one of the things about that we are so experienced and we feel so strong and secure about this solution in its entirety that we guarantee the results. If you go through our training package and you just do what we suggest and recommend, we guarantee the results. And if the results are not what we guarantee, you will get whatever your investment is back, 100% of it, because we failed. And we've done this enough that we feel confident enough about what we provide and how we provide it, is it comes with a guarantee. So we can certainly dig into, you know, exactly what that means and how that could affect your business in a positive way. Then feel free to inquire and follow up with us about that solution as well. So, so if there are any questions about how to contact us, certainly you got the emails from Julie, our marketing extraordinaire there at Hayes. You can follow back through that or via email, or certainly you know, we can provide a number as well. So, well, thanks everybody for everyone your time and attention today. I know you have a lot of choices in how you spend your time, and we very much appreciate you spending it with us here today. Hopefully you got some takeaways from this that that were of value to you, and we would love to have an opportunity to get into some more details with this solution moving down the road. So thank you very much. I don't see any last minute questions here of any variety, so we'll go ahead and end it now, and have the great rest of your week.